Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Ready from Rady's Rides. We're back here at Tasca Buick GMC in Palm Harbor, and guess what? I have that total redesign of that midsize SUV from Buick. It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2025 Buick Enclave. This particular one is the top trim known as the Avenir. But before we get into this midsize three-row SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. So Buick is trying to rejuvenate their brand. Not only are they redesigning their vehicles, but they also redesign the Buick logo to make things have a little bit more modern, youthful feel and appearance. The Enclave is their largest SUV they make. It's a midsize three-row that has lots of special new touches. Now, when you say Avenir, that is the luxury spec. So what I want to find out is, does the Avenir bring as much luxury as the competition? And is it the must-own? Let's go ahead. Let's dive into this ocean blue Avenir Enclave and find out. Right off the bat, the Enclave has a nice overall size. It really does fit the letter right to a T when it comes to not too big, not too small. At the front of the business, you're going to get that Wildcat concept design brought into this SUV. So you have your separate LED turn signals and daytime running lamp mounted nice and high. And then down low, we have our little pod with LED headlights. Continuing down, Avenir trim gives you this chrome badging. It's got a nice shiny appearance to it with the blue. And then on the bottom portion, you have the black. Now there are three trims to the Enclave. If you don't want to go Avenir, they have the base preferred, then they have, of course, ST, and then they have Avenir. Now, as we come across the front grille, I think the Wildcat design really fits nicely with the front of this large SUV. You got nice smooth surface, everything body color, that iconic Buick badge, recently redesigned, forward-facing camera, and then this is an Avenir-specific grille, the gloss black with the chrome accents. Working our way down, fully functional. Bottom portion is not functional, so I am gonna zonk that, but it is fully functional up top, and you do have active aero shutters that open and close to bring less or more air. And then the bottom portion is fully functional with the gloss black and then some chrome on the lower lip. But let me know what you think about the face of this Enclave Avenir. I'm not really a big chrome guy, but I feel like they kind of sprinkled just enough and didn't go too over the top. Now, as we rise back up, love seeing that new Buick badge. Nice curve to the hood, a little bit of an indentation, all that metal flake. And then as we come around the bend, on the Avenir, you're gonna get some big wheels. So you're gonna have these nice hand-polished aluminum wheels, 22-inch wheel. Tires are gonna be 275 on the width, 45 series sidewall, and I love the way that they paint all the way around the fender opening. Of course, they reworked the suspension and the chassis for this redesign. Coming down the side, color matched on the mirror caps, your LED turn signals, and you have your 360-degree camera there. Bright shiny metalwork, top and bottom of the window openings, a little bit of chrome with the body color on the door handle, and then there's our Avenir trim. When you see that, that is the top trim from Buick. Boy, oh boy, do I really want a Buick Grand National right around now. If only they would make vehicles like that. That's a great way to bring a youthful feel to your overall lineup. But this is what we got. So bright silver aluminum style roof rails close to the body. They're not the lifted kind. And then everything is body color with just a little bit of this thin chrome strip along the bottom. Working our way towards the rear, good size on the quarter window. I like the way they flare out the trim going into that rear pillar. That quarter panel has a nice flared design coming off the rear passenger door, and then just like a front, look at how good they do the lighting. Really, really nice. Full LED, Enclave name, Buick name. That's it. You do have a long roof spoiler, digital rear view mirror, and our third brake light blended in. The one thing they need to figure out to get rid of is this wiper, because that would just clean everything up. But the Buick badge looks fantastic. Working our way down, you actually have functional exhaust on both sides with those decorative stainless steel trim rings. And this panel does come off because you can tow up to 5,000 pounds with this midsize crossover SUV. But why don't we go ahead, we looked at the outside, let's go pop the hood and see what's powering this new Enclave. All right guys, we got the hood popped on this 2026 Buick Enclave. You do have the hood struts. Underneath the hood, I think the one thing that people are still upset about and disappointed is the lack of a V6. Gone is the V6. In its place is a 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 4, 328 horsepower, 326 pound-feet of torque. It does use an 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 6.7 seconds. Top speed 130 miles an hour. MPGs 20 in the city, 27 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs right around 4,734 pounds, but tows up to 5,000 pounds. So it's interesting how the V6 is gone, but you do have more horsepower and more torque than what the V6 had. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and see this Enclave roll. All right guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings, a nice Avenir aluminum sill plate, all the seat controls easy to get to, and you do have massage seats for both the passenger and the driver. I'm gonna have Steven kind of zoom in on the screen here just to show you that massage setting. You could go to adjust the lumbar, you could do a little bit of roll. I'm gonna turn it on. Oh yeah, here we go. Feels good right now. So nice to have that. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of room in here. Steering wheel, the blue leather. Whenever you see this, that means we have Super Cruise, heated steering wheel, flat black on most of the switchgear. And then you do have paddles on the back of the wheel to go up and down that 8-speed automatic. And you have your different modes, which I'm gonna have Steven show you on the screen. Touring, sport, snow and ice, and then tow and haul. So nice to have the different modes. And then that other part of the 30 inches is that beautiful digital gauge cluster. You could scroll through a freaking cornucopia of information. Really nice to have all that usability. And there's a head-up display. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the mid-row and the third row of this Enclave Avenir and see how luxurious it is. All right guys, we're inside this 2026 Buick Enclave Avenir. I know you're saying to yourself, well Joe, it's been a while since I looked at Buick. They really kind of bored me to death. I am digging this new Enclave though, especially an Avenir trim. How much is it? So this particular one, the way it's spec'd, has an MSRP of $64,000. This is the top trim, but let's see if Buick can change your mind about its brand. To the door panels, they got risque. Look at the blue with the white two-tone. Nice soft touch material, the stitching, that open pore wood. You got the Bose premium sound system with those really stylish speaker grille covers. No gloss black around the switchgear, even a little bit of copper tone finish there. They really went all in. Down below, door pocket is big enough to where easily you could do a pick 2 from Panera, get yourself a Greek salad and a half of a bacon turkey Bravo sandwich, and of course a raspberry lemonade to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, love the blue is actually really fun in here. It gives it a nice special feel. Like the way they did this trim. Kind of weird it's not the wood though, like it was on the door panels. That perforated design in the soft touch, more of that blue, and then slide on in 30 inches of uninterrupted screen. Full touch screen, your Google Maps, your Google Assistant, Amazon Alexa, the whole freaking 9 yards. You could go into ambient lighting. You got more colors than the freaking rainbow. And then we're right back where we started. You could go into cameras. Love the cameras, 360, every which way, clear resolution, looks great. 3 stages of ventilated seats, 3 stages of heated seats, dual climate control, which you have actual real toggle switches for the climate control. Look at the way they did the perforations. That looks fantastic. I don't know why that just changed here though. There we go. Now I feel better. Your start stop button, and then these nicely styled AC vents in the dash, USB-C, USB-A, wireless charging, a real volume knob, which is nice, a place for some Tic Tacs, 2 cup holders, and then down below, look at that room. You got enough room for a sack, a satch, a cross body bag, a fanny pack, a satchel, or you could put a hat, maybe some gloves, maybe a sweater, maybe your Louis Vuitton purse. I'll be honest with you, I've always thought Louis Vuitton is ugly. The brown, like who the hell wants a brown bag like that? I have no idea. Now they got all these other funky colors. Ugh. Soft touch material, love the stitching. Open it up, you have this very special membership card. So this is good at all participating Circuit Cities, of course, Auto Audio, and Radio Shack. You get a special Buick discount. Lift that up. You have enough room to where you could put, I would say, maybe 4 Entenmann's bun cakes. I remember every time I used to visit my grandmother, always would be a Entenmann's bun cake, or my favorite, a coffee cake. The seats, the leather, the Avenir embroidery. Look at all the perforation. Look at the blue piping. Full electric assist for the passenger, full electric assist for the driver. I'm not done yet. We got a power shade with that panoramic sunroof, and you do have a digital rear view mirror. But why don't you come over here to the business end in this 2026 Enclave? I got Super Cruise I want to show you. Come on over. All right, guys, mid-row and third row. Boy, these mid-row seats look fantastic, just like up front, the blue piping, the nice perforations, even the Avenir embroidery in the headrest. The captain's chair armrest, I need it to be a little wider. That's a zonk. That's just not going to work. Backs of the seats got large pockets. This is where you could put maybe a small bag of diamonds, maybe a bag of rubies. It's all about the family jewels. Keep the family jewels safe. Little command center, you got your 2 cup holders for your Frappa Lappa Crappas, and then you do have AC controls. Heated seats, but no ventilated seats. That's a zonk on a $60-something thousand SUV. Let me move this back so Steven has some room. 2 USB-Cs, a home power source, and a place for 5 Twinkies down below. As you saw, the seats do slide and they do recline. One thing that's surprising though is that there's no sunshade, but I do like the way the AC vents are nicely mounted high up. To get into the back, how do we do it? We're gonna find out. So we're gonna go down like that, and then we're gonna go like this. Where's the other button? There's another button to make it go up. Steven knows where it is. There it is. Good job, Steven. You're the MVP today. I'll tell you, for the third row though, this is actually pretty darn good for a midsize. Look where my knees are. Not very high. Not very high up in my mouth. I got AC vents here, USB-Cs, a place for some Hershey's Kisses, and a Yoo-hoo, and even the way they designed the seats, very nice, like the other rows. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the cargo area, because I want to take you for a drive in this Avenir. All right, guys, time to get in the cargo area of this 2026 Enclave. You hit the button, nice electric assist. You're going to be greeted to some really usable space. So with that third row up, you're looking at 23 cubic feet of space. Fold down the third row, that's going to give you 57 cubic feet of space. Fold down the mid row, that's going to give you almost 100 cubic feet of space in a midsize. That's pretty darn good. Now over here we do have our array of switchgear to fold down the seats, and you do get a 12 volt. I'm a little disappointed you don't get a home power source, but to fold down the rear seats, nice electric assist, 60-40 split. They fold super quickly, which is great. Underneath here, nice storage. This is where you can get the boxes of the Twinkies, the Ho-Hos, the Ding Dongs, the Swiss cake rolls, Star Crunch, Nutter butters, the list goes on and on. Just fill this sucker up, and I like the way the lid stays open so you could get double fisted action going on here. On the back, like I was trying to point out, you do have USB-Cs on both sides of that third row. But crazy to think, you fold down that mid row, you're almost looking at 100 cubic feet of space. That's a lot of room for that double fisting action. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I'm ready, let's go for a little spin and see how this Enclave Avenir drives. All right, guys, we are inside this 2026 Buick Enclave Avenir, and right away, I love the setup of the interior. You have a nice large head-up display. You have your 30 inches of uninterrupted infotainment system screen, digital rear view mirror, that nice floating center console with the wireless charging, and we do have Super Cruise, which is that semi-autonomous hands-free driving, probably the best one in the industry. Love the way that all at the press of a button, I could change exactly what I want to have displayed in front of me on that digital gauge cluster. And they did a really bang up job with the sound deadening material, the thickness of the side glass, the acoustic windshield, and all of the fine touches. I mean, there's very little gloss black in here, and they're using a lot of other great materials like wood, aluminum, the nice leather style surface with the perforations, ambient lighting, and then the blue interior on this really wakes it up inside. Shows what Buick can do with some extra creativity. But the great news about the Enclave is that even though it's a mid-sized 3-row SUV, it's easy to drive. The seats are very comfortable, very supportive, and the fact that you have the massage seat settings, I mean, come on. What are we talking about here? This is crazy. Now, if you compare this to, say, a Lexus TX350, you're not going to be getting close to the amenities that this Enclave Avenir has. And I don't know, it's especially, like I said, the Super Cruise, to have that in here is really worth its weight in gold. But getting to everything, and the fact that you have physical toggle switches for your AC controls is really nice. I think the only other thing I would have done is I would have pulled the ventilated seats out and put the heated and ventilated seats on both sides here to just make it easy. But it's all at the tap of a screen, very easy to reach. Yes, the 4-cylinder turbo sounds like a 4-cylinder turbo. But remember, the Lexus TX has a 4-cylinder turbo as well. It's a 2.4 liter turbocharged inline 4. The 8-speed automatic does shift well. And the fact that you can get your Enclave front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive is another nice option to have. But the way that they do the 30 inches of uninterrupted screen, it's at a perfect eye level placement to where it's not blocking anything at all, especially the blue. You want to be able to see that blue dash because it just looks so freaking good. But a pleasure to be behind the wheel. Very easy to drive. And what's great about the Super Cruise is that it's also very easy to activate, and they're adding more and more miles of road each and every year to the system, even certain back roads, which is phenomenal. Now, I like the fact that even though this does have 22-inch wheels, it rides really, really well. Very comfortable. It's just the problem is that once you step on the throttle, you do hear that 4-cylinder turbo, and it's not the greatest sound. And of course, if there was a V6, you would have linear torque delivery. But you are getting more horsepower and torque overall compared to the outgoing V6. Handling, very comfortable, very refined. On throttle, here we go. And that's uphill. I tell you, she does get up and boogie. That's for sure. And the 8-speed does behave well with the 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 4. But man, this is very, very comfortable experience, especially with the massage that I'm getting right now. But I'm hoping that this has been a good, quick overall review of the Buick Enclave Avenir for 2026. We're gonna get back to Tasca Buick GMC and wrap this one up. So I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways here at Tasca Buick GMC Palm Harbor. Definitely got to thank Dean and the rest of the crew getting us access to this 2026 Buick Enclave Avenir. Let me know what you think. Does it bring enough luxury for the money? And can this compete against something like the Lexus TX? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rise family. Got to give it up to Stephen Flood. Get ready. He's got a special show coming up. Stay tuned for times and dates and how much the cost is. But I heard it's going to be one hell of a show. What the show is all about, you're going to have to ask him. I'm not saying it. But thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.